Internet Computer, ICP, has just done something unimaginably important. This recent development could catapult ICP to being a top 3 cryptocurrency during this bull market.
The first demonstration of quite a sophisticated AI running on blockchain. That blockchain, of course, is the Internet Computer.
This announcement is going to open the doors to a $200 trillion industry, and I think money is going to be flooding in from institutions like we have never seen before. This is probably the most important Internet Computer video that I will ever make, so hit the like button and let's get into it. Now, before we look at what Dominic Wood is talking about, I want to frame this and tell you why it's such an important thing right now. Cathie Wood, you've all heard of, from ARK Invest, sees a $200 trillion potential for disruptive, innovative markets, with AIs being the most important catalyst. And then as we look into this particular model here, you will see that the biggest catalyst of growth within the AI industries is this: neural networks. Okay, so all of these different things that are happening across crypto and AI, neural networks are the ones that we should be paying attention to. A $200 trillion industry, most important catalyst of the most important catalyst, neural networks. But there's a problem with existing neural networks. The costs of building these large language models has become increasingly more and more expensive because it's incredibly demanding on compute power. And all these companies out there have to go out and source this compute power at huge scale. We've seen Bitenza doing it, but whether it can actually scale is currently questionable. However, we know, having delved into how Internet Computer works, that there is a way that this can become scalable. And I've been talking about this for months, looking into DeepIn and AI projects, the AI scaling issue. If you can fix this problem that is going to be worth trillions and trillions of dollars going forward, then you stand to make a $1 trillion product within crypto. Outside of Bitcoin, no product has so far been worth over $1 trillion, and that leaves the door wide open for Internet Computer to come in and take that position. So let's look at this clip in more detail and see what Dominic Wood is talking about.
The only blockchain in the world today that can run compute at scale. There's a lot of talk about, blockchains for AI, tokens for AI, and things like that. This is the real deal. This is AI running on the blockchain. So today I'm going to demonstrate image classification, which involves a neural network running inside a smart contract. In fact, that neural network has been compiled to WebAssembly, which is what runs on the Internet Computer. Okay, so without further ado, let's get started. So this web page you see here is being created by Canister Smart Contract with the AI inside. So I'm going to click this logo, and it's going to ask me to select an image file to classify. So the first one's a tiger. Let's see how it does. Now, be warned, this is going to take about 10 seconds. Currently, it's processing about 20 billion WASM instructions to classify the image, but that's going to come down very dramatically in the future. Well, there we go. It's correctly classified this file as depicting a tiger. So let's try another one.
And I get it. You're like, okay, I've just seen something that looks like it's from a computer that's from like 30 years ago. Fair enough. Okay, but what is so important about what we've just witnessed is this. Training and creating large language models, as I've mentioned already, is incredibly time intensive and incredibly expensive. It's also hugely demanding and hugely centralized. And as you look into this model, you'll see that there's only a few companies right now that are really being able to access this building of large language models. This means that it's incredibly centralized. And also that means that the average user out there doesn't have access to be able to use these different functions. This limits the development capacity for people out there to be able to develop using these AI neural networks. And also think about this, a neural network, think about like your brain. It has neurons that are communicating with each other all the time in order to learn and process information. And the importance of networks are that they can learn information in various different places and feed it back into a brain, and all of these different areas can then feed into the network and learn significantly faster. All of this is literally looking into the future, and it looks like ICP Internet Computer has done something that I didn't think that they were going to be able to do. They've just done something way faster than I ever anticipated this happening. And yes, you're looking at the very most basic start of this, okay, analyzing images to be able to give you the information back. But that's incredibly important. They've just opened the doors to something unbelievable. They're going to be able to open this at absolutely enormous scale. They're going to be able to do this like no other project out there is going to be able to do. And that has just created the catalyst for an explosion in the ICP internet computer price. And some of you are like, well, yeah, I've been watching your videos over the last year or so, and I've already been buying ICP, but the price hasn't been really moving anywhere recently. Well, there's a good reason for that. Over the last year or so, ICP has kind of caught a lot of hype and attention and excitement, and that's mainly just come from YouTube and Twitter and, a lot of promises. A lot of crypto projects out there are about promises and ideas, and yeah, they might sound really good and we like to invest in the ideas, but many of these projects will probably never pull them off. And I kind of felt that ICP's ideas were so damn ambitious that maybe there was a chance this wouldn't be able to come into something real. And as we look into this indicator that comes from Benjamin Cowan that looks at social risk, you will see that the social risk is basically on the amount of people, individuals like you and me, who are just buying into tokens and just holding a token at a certain price because of the hype and excitement behind a project. But when you then go and inject something into it, like something as big as what ICP has just announced, then the whole game changes. Because not only do you have the hype and excitement already in place, but now you're putting gas onto that flame, okay? And now we're seeing all the catalysts coming together at once. And look at the results that you have of projects actively starting to onboard users and starting to develop new projects. This is a cache. You can see it had active leases absolutely exploding on the scene. We've seen a huge growth in a cache recently. IO.net also talks about the requirements for AI apps increasing by 10x every 18 months. And this scalability issue is causing the huge problems. And these huge costs will only continue to increase until the scalability issue gets fixed. Think about Ethereum. Ethereum, the blockchain that came in, everyone's still complaining about all of the gas fees and problems with Ethereum. Suddenly we see Solana starting to explode because it's taking away a lot of that demand that's going on Ethereum right now because Ethereum can't cope, and now it's created something incredibly important. Off the blockchain, the demand for this large language model training is going absolutely berserk, and there's no way to be able to handle this level of growth without something breaking. Until now, ICP has just come in and said, we are the people who can do what you're demanding, and this demand is only going to be continuing to increase. Now, I know some of you might be confused by this, okay? But that's fine. All you simply need to know is that the biggest gains and the biggest growth that came out of projects in the last bull market happened because of a few different things. It happened because of the hype and excitement and attention, of course. But some of the biggest winners in the last bull market were Solana and Polygon. Why? Because Ethereum was struggling to cope with the workload. So Solana and Polygon came in and they took over that workload. And that enabled Solana to grow around 300x from its starting price. But this is nothing compared to the growth and potential excitement that we're going to see coming from AI. And this is all in my opinion, guys. Coming from a position where over the last few months and stuff, I've been like kind of going off of ICP a bit because it was overheated. It was overheated with just hype and excitement. And I genuinely didn't believe that we were going to have an announcement like this in time. It's come at just the most exciting time in the markets. And it's getting so much attention. Ran Nuna from Crypto Banter and even Altcoin Daily, 1.4 million subscribers, had a brief mention of the ICP at the end of this recent video. And it feels like it's just the beginning. So, is it a good time to be getting into ICP? Let's have a look. Well, obviously we've got to remember that Bitcoin right now is sat at 65.5k, looking like it could go either way. Who knows, right? If Bitcoin continues to have a little bit of falling further, then maybe we might get lucky and get a better entry on ICP. But if Bitcoin kind of continues to build strength, then yeah, ICP could be an exciting one. And many of you are like, oh, well, if ICP is so important and so exciting, why is it, not really moving very much? And I've told you this. ICP, I think, is more of the social risk factor than other coins. Because I know lots of people love ICP and their confirmation bias just continues to make them watch videos over and over again of just repetitive content about ICP. it means that the social hype and stuff is already extremely high, which makes it slightly less favorable for investors or large-scale investors to come in right now while everyone else is already hyped about it. So as we look at ICP right now, we can see that maybe it's forming into some form of an interesting pattern. Maybe we can call this a ascending triangle. And as we have a look at this chart and have a little bit of a zoom out, you can see that ICP sits in this very interesting zone. And if you subscribe to my channel, you will know why this is an interesting zone, because I've told you this 4 key areas to pay attention to. And this is the crypto market cap, excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. But pretty much every cryptocurrency, with the exception of maybe meme coins, which do something a bit weird, does this. It goes through a bear market. It goes through an accumulation phase where everyone's like, oh, it's a dead coin, Solana's a dead coin, ICP's a dead coin, it's not going anywhere. And then suddenly it kind of has a little bit of a wake up and it goes into this disbelief phase where half the people are like, okay, maybe something's going on here. And then half the people are like, oh, it's still a scam. And then it goes into this green zone and everyone's like, well, okay, I was wrong. I was wrong about this project. So where would ICP sit on this? Well, let's have a look. Let's get some boxes out. We've obviously had our bear market. We're not very concerned about that. You would have to say that this is probably our accumulation zone. Down and around down here. Let's make it yellow to stick with the previous color coordination patterns. Then you would have to say that this is still in disbelief phase. While it has come up aggressively from this accumulation phase, and if you were subscribed last year, and I'm sure if you're holding ICP, you've seen some of my ICP videos that I've been making, then you would have been getting involved down around here. This disbelief phase is designed to kind of get the hype and attention removed from the market. It's trying to get rid of all of your hype and excitement because it doesn't really pay for people because they need you as exit liquidity at the top. So eventually, when this breaks this phase, we're going to go into a bull market. Now, when does that bull market happen? I have no idea. It could be tomorrow. It could be next week. It could be next month. Crypto is an easier one to identify if something is going to happen rather than when something is going to happen. If we understand that right now ICP sits at the forefront of running into a bull market where it could potentially blow up and see an absolutely incredible run, then we can get very excited about where it's going. So if we anticipate where it's currently sat, then I would say this zone down here looks fairly favorable for me to look to try and get into. Now, obviously, I've been telling you to get in down here, and I was in ICP for quite a long time. After this kind of pump, I took some profits, and then now we've sort of got down into this area, and we're still yet to see much wake up from this recent news release. Well, now I'm starting to look at ICP in a better light. At $12, it still looks like it's reasonable value. But I want to just throw a bit of caution, because I know a lot of people like ICP is going to be 1000x, blah, blah, blah. Stop that, okay? And all these new crypto channels are coming in and they're fighting for your attention to build up viewership on ICP. So I want you to be cautious about the potential for ICP right now. Lots of people were competing down below, telling you that, you need to get into ICP because it's going to go to $1,000 or $10,000. Can it really do that? Well, let's have a find out. Let's go to CoinMarketCap. Let's look at the top coins up in this bull market right now, okay? Solana, guys, $78 billion market cap. And yes, you might be like, well, ICP is doing something Solana can't do. Fair enough, but Solana right now is doing something that ICP isn't doing, and that is attracting a bunch of users. Solana literally right now, according to all statistics, is killing Ethereum right now. Like it or not, there's a reason that Solana sits here with a $78 billion market cap. But now ICP has just announced this and is developing there, then there's a huge opportunity for it to start pulling massive quantity of users and developers to come and build on chain, utilizing this new AI tech and neural networks to be able to develop their projects even further with more exciting capacity going forward. And if you get a massive flood of developers coming over, which is what I think we're going to get, then you're going to get a massive flood and creation of new apps and things like that, which means you get loads of new users, and then you get loads of new users using the network and buying the tokens, and that's where we see the growth. Now, as we come down the list and look for ICP, wherever it might be, number 22, we'll see that the ICP, or Internet Computer, sits with a market cap $5.8 billion. Not small. And you're like, yeah, but Cathie Wood said $200 trillion. That's fine. But there's also others projecting hardware spends of $1.7 trillion by 2030, or by 2025 of $285 billion. So maybe we're then limited by this like $1 trillion number. But on the flip side of things, I want you to consider something else. In the last bull market, Sandbox had a value per user of $22,500, which is absolutely ridiculous. Okay, it means that every user that's using it, the value of the company, $22,000, is not worth that much. Okay, it's got there because of hype and excitement and attention, which can happen also to ICP. On top of the fact that ICP is actually doing something, it's going to be potentially worth trillions of dollars. In contrast, Google has a cost to average user of $444, which actually makes sense because every time you're using Google or YouTube and eventually you're clicking ads and people might be buying on ads from Google or YouTube ads or whatever, then it's actually kind of balanced in terms of its value versus the money that it generates. So therefore, I'm saying that ICP could be having the best of both worlds. It could get all the hype and excitement and attention that drives it way higher than it realistically should be valued, but at the same time, having something that can really drive its actual value on top of that as well. Therefore, $5.8 billion, a 10x takes us to $58 billion. Who's currently sat at $58 billion? We come up the list. That brings us above XRP, which, isn't doing much right now, let's be honest, and sits us just behind Solana. But obviously, these other cryptos above will continue to see growth as well. Now, projecting to say that ICP is going to do 100x, which means it would be worth $580 billion, would currently put it above Ethereum's current market cap, but it's pretty punchy to say that it's going to happen in this bull market. Given that we have now seen some huge excitement and there will be money flooding into this, I think ICP could find itself very much in this kind of top 7, top 6 environment. I don't think XRP is going to exist in here long. I think maybe ICP can even get into the top 5 coins. I still think Solana is going to be up there, and I think Solana will continue to climb up this tree and maybe start to see Ethereum. BNB gets pushed out as Binance gets more heavily regulated against and smaller exchanges take away its market share. I spoke to one of the heads of Binance when I was recently in Dubai, and he basically said that Binance's sole goal right now is to maintain market share because everyone's picking apart all these big exchanges, which are getting more and more heavily regulated. If ICP gets up into this kind of level around $100 billion market cap, then you're looking at a 20, maybe even towards a 25x. Here's what happens in a bull market and a bear market. No matter how amazing it might sound, it will always be overinflated at the top of a bull market because the hype and tension and excitement will be driven into the market. The big money will already be positioned. They will wait till the hype and excitement reaches extreme levels and they will pull their money out. And then they will wait for the next bull market. What then happens is all of the retail investors who haven't educated themselves properly will still be like, buy the dip, buy the dip, buy the dip. Okay? And then this basically happens. Basically, eventually they'll get to a point and be like, well, I can't really afford to stay in this market anymore because I've lost so much already. And they will continue to sell. It will get like a relief rally and everyone's like, oh, we're going to be, it's going to carry on. And then it carries on bleeding towards the downside. It does this because liquidity starts to exit from the markets and awaits a new bull market. So ICP has the potential to do a 25x and then probably will come down to around a valuation of, let's say, $20 or so. So why on earth would you stake for rewards? Doesn't matter how many rewards you're going to get. Let's use Solana as an example. And I know you're like, oh, well, Solana's not the same. Guys, this is crypto, right? Imagine if you bought Solana here and you're like, well, I'm going to stake for 8 years. Okay. Just for example, I know you couldn't do that with Solana. It goes up here to like a 9x. Okay. And if you got in earlier, you would have got even better. Then Solana goes from $258 to what? $8? Okay, so if you were staked all that time, and you could have actually exited higher and had more money than you would actually currently have. Or you could do what, the smart people do, and is get in here, maybe cash out somewhere along here for like a 6, 7x, happy days. It comes all the way back down, and now you've got, your 7 times more money that you had then. So if you put in $1,000 and you waited till now, you would currently be sat on like $7,000. But if you had the ability to cash out for like, let's say $7,000, and then you get back in the market here, and you put 7,000 back in, Solana's now done what, like a 16x, and you've done 16x on your $7,000. You're now at like 100k approximately, give or take. My math is not that good, obviously. Do you see the difference? Why would you just stake a coin for like 15% rewards? Ludicrous. Don't do it, okay? No matter how much you back a project, they all go up, they all go down. I wouldn't personally stake for more than a year, maybe 18 months. So guys, that's my breakdown. So guys, hopefully you found that useful. This video was in no way in partnership with ICP. As far as I'm concerned, this is something I'm interested and excited about. And if you wish to go and pick up some ICP, personally, I did it through MEXC, which is linked down below in the description. It's an affiliate link. I will make a small commission if you go and buy ICP through this platform. But it's the one I use. Why do I use it? Because the fees are 0% on futures, 0.1% on spot making. Absolutely the cheapest exchange out there with over 4,500 different altcoins. Now, depending on which country you're in, you may not be able to access this. So simply what I do is I use a NordVPN, also linked down below, where you'll get 4 months free exclusively through my link. And then after that, it's like $2.50 per month. This allows me to change my location. Currently, I'm in Canada, but clearly by the fact that I'm actually sweating right now because I turned off the AC to make this video, quite clearly not in Canada. And I can position myself in different locations around the world with just a click of a button. And that will then allow me to position myself to be able to use the exchanges and whatever within different locations. Not only this, but it allows me to stay anonymous online. Also, it stops people from spying and looking into my trades and different bits and pieces. This is also an essential tool because it keeps you secure while trading crypto and operating online. Guys, I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, hit the like button, and I'll continue in the future to bring you the most important news on ICP and other projects as we go forward. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. See you later. Bye-bye.